I am broken in body, in spirit, in self-understanding, and in the understanding of God, and the God understanding of me. I am broken. I brought with me, since I've become known as a proppy pastor, brought with me a mirror. And one of the things about mirrors that I find just to be so fascinating is that you look at them, I look at them, and even though I see myself in the mirror all the time, every day, it doesn't take long for me to be able to look into the mirror and find something wrong. I don't know if anybody else is like this too, but I can look, I used to have entirely dark hair. Like, it's not dark anymore, it's going really gray. It's, you know, I could point out everything that's wrong with me if you want. It doesn't take long. And then you can sit there and you can stare in this mirror, and if you happen to be a little bit like me at all, you can look and you can stare and you can see all the things that are wrong with you. And maybe if you stare long enough, you actually start to think about all the things that are wrong inside. The things that aren't quite right, the things that are just, they're in there. You know it, God knows it. We're broken. And mirrors reveal this about us. Mirrors have this amazing power to reveal things to us that sometimes perhaps we'd rather not see. They're very handy as a tool, though. I mean, I can tell that my hair is in good order, good fashion this evening. That's very helpful. But mirrors, in our broken state, they leave us kind of looking for more. They leave us wanting and desiring more. As Christians, our understanding of God to us, even just as human beings, our understanding of God to us is often, frequently broken. We can look at God and we can kind of understand that sin is real and that we are sinners. It can become kind of the word that God says. You're a sinner. Can't you see it? And so we as Christians, we continually again and again and again talk about how sinful we are. And this is true, we are sinful. But sometimes it becomes the only thing that we will hear about ourselves. I'm a sinner, I don't do any good. Sometimes the mirror is actually just one of the least helpful things in the entire world. Sometimes mirrors they don't tell you anything useful. So in Isaiah, if you have that reading, you do have that reading. You took one of the little purple sheets. You have that reading in front of you. You'll notice that the very first word in Isaiah 43 is this great word. It is but. But. Right? This word says that something happened before that is kind of contrary to the words that are now coming in after. So all of these words that had actually happened before were words of destruction and desolation. God had allowed his people to wander. He had allowed his people to stare deeply into the mirror and see their own destruction. He had allowed his people to destroy themselves day after day. And at this point, with the prophet Isaiah, you get this word, but. But. You have a God who says something different. Part of the challenge, I think, of our lives is that we're used to hearing God speak in a way that is simply, we've done something wrong. This is a danger to Christianity. That we only hear that we ourselves as Christians have done something wrong. This is God with his people Israel. He had said to them, Israel, listen to me. Kind of like a parent, right? Yeah, a parent starts off with the first name. Israel, listen to me. Israel, listen to me. Israel, Ephraim, Benjamin, whatever the full name of Israel. Listen to me. Listen to me. And the people, because the reality of our lives is actually their sin, the people stopped listening. They did not listen. And so they asked this question, why does God hate us in this destruction? And I found that people still ask that question. Why is God punishing me? Why does God hate me? Why does God esteem me so low? Why does God abandon us? And what we can see sometimes in our sin, if we're spending our time looking in the mirror at all of the sin that is truly there, is that sometimes it can look as if God has truly abandoned us. And our estimation of ourselves is that we are not good. We are so bad that God has left us. We are so bad that God has deserted me. I am that bad that God has deserted me. This is what the people of Israel are thinking, perhaps. As Isaiah gets to this chapter 43. I am so bad that God has deserted me. But now God says, but. There's a tendency to view the relationship with God that we have in terms of short-term things, like what's happening right now, what's happening right in front of you. So there's today this is my issue. Today this is mirrors. I'm 33 years old. How can I still be breaking out? You look at this. You tend to view this short-term, right there, right in front of you. God says, but let's take a long-term view of who I am for my people. And so he says here, God choosing to deal with his people in this long-term history. If you read with me verses 1 and 2. But now, thus says the Lord, he who created you, O Jacob, he who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flames shall not consume you. God has created, he has formed, he has redeemed. He has called his people by name. And so, over here, you have this mirror that is held up to us and says, this is me, this is sin. This is who I am. I can legitimately, truly say as a human being, I am sinful, I am completely, utterly broken. And if we're over there, without this word from God, that's a very dangerous place to be. But God says this other word. He says, no. Let me give you some of my esteem for you. Let me share with you some of the estimation that I have for you. And the reason that I have this estimation is not because of something that you happen to have done today, not because of something that was immediately right here, not some short-term thing, but there's this long-term thing. I have formed you. I have redeemed you. You are mine. When you walk through the waters, when you go through the river, when you go through the fire, when you go through the flame, when you're asking yourself, do I have any worth? When you're wondering if there's some reason that I actually exist. I hear this more than I ever should. But I hear it a lot, like, why am I still here? I hear from old people all the time. Why am I still here? Why? I'm not good for anything anymore. I'm not, there's just, why am I still here? Why isn't God taking me home? Why am I still with us? I quite frankly just feel worthless. As human beings, this is part of our common experience. The question is on the lips after we recognize the sin that lives in us is why? 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 Why would God love me? Why? Continuing the reading. God, having established that relationship with his people, he says, there is nothing that I won't give for you. I will give Egypt for you. I will give Cush and Seba for you. I will give for you my son.